Greetings, welcome everybody. I'm Greg Livingstone with Fluidtech, and I am really excited about our next presentation. We have Rob Kalwarowsky, and he's going to be joining us, and is really an inspiring presenter, and will be inspiring us today talking about leadership. And just before I turn things over to him, for those of you that are participating in getting some free stuff, here's Rob's code. So make sure you add this into the app and continue to collect these codes. And we have quite a competition on right now, apparently, for winning free things. So best of luck with that. And for now, I will turn things over to you, Rob.
Thanks, Greg. And yeah, everyone, get your free stuff in and try to win an iPad, or what was the other few things I saw? There were some headphones and stuff. And
I think it's all iPod, or yeah, you're exactly right. A whole bunch of Apple Watch and AirPods.
Oh, it's Charlie and Andre are here, so I know both of them. Charlie, you may have seen a little bit of this one before. But actually, it's funny, right? Charlie's in the chat, and Charlie was the inspiration to this talk today. And it was I guess it was about 2 weeks ago now, Charlie posted a video of an exercise that we had her do as part of the Leadership Launchpad program. And it was her story. It was, how did Charlie arrive? And what mission is Charlie on now with empowering brands and with empowering women and soon to be empowering leaders? And I start this talk with this is one of my favorite leadership quotes, is becoming a leader is synonymous with becoming yourself. It is precisely that simple, and it is also that difficult. We think it's simple to become ourselves. We think it's simple. We're baked. We're human beings. We show up and, hey, I'm Rob, and I was the same Rob as I was 2 years ago. But you can find yourself. You can learn more about who you are today, but also you can create who you want to become tomorrow. And that's something we don't often think about. Everyone talks about finding ourselves. First, I don't think you'll ever find out everything about who you are now. But finding yourself implies that you're finished. Finding yourself implies that you're already there. You're already baked. You're already a person. And yes, you have all these things. But I hope you leave here today wanting to both learn more about yourself, but also inspired to think about who you want to become and how you're going to get there. And it all starts for me is this question about who are you? And who are you is not as simple as it sounds, just like the Warren Bennis quote. And for a lot of us, where we start with this question about who are you is we think about our resume. And for me, if you would have asked me this question a few years ago, I would have said to you, hey, I'm Rob Kalwarowsky. I'm a reliability engineer. I'm a podcast host. I'm an MIT graduate. And I'm a water polo player. And that's not really who I am. Those are the things that I've done. And what I would say to you today is I'm a leader on a path of trying to inspire people and create people and inspire them to take the next step and to take the journey for themselves, to become truly who they want to be to truly start to lead themselves in the way that they can and change the lives in the way that they can. And, here are a few pictures of me over my life. And, like I am a father of a dog that you can see. Winston's there. He may be getting mad at some point in the background. You can see my partner Mbalia there. You can see me playing polo, and you can see me working as a reliability engineer at a few sites that I've been at. And these are some of the traits that I have. These are some of the values that I have around high performance, around teaching people, around learning and growth. And I did this interview with David Drapkin from Psychedelics Today, and David is a therapist. And the way I asked him, who are you? And I loved his answer, because not only has David journeyed into some of the psychedelics, he's also spent time alone in monasteries and different like Buddhism and Hinduism in Asia. And he spent a lot of time thinking about himself and thinking about the answers. And I love his answer about creating yourself. I love his answer about who we are is something that doesn't exist yet. And I love his answer about loving to go on the journey. And the next thing I want to just leave you with is, once we start to understand who we are, once we start to understand the values that we have, the growth and the gifts that each one of us has, we start to see how we can contribute to the world. And I often say, and we often say this at Elite, that leadership starts with each and every one of us. It starts with us before it can impact others. And so if we start to see and we start to cultivate ourselves, the value that we bring, we start to see that in others. And it shifts away from, this person doesn't get it. This person isn't listening to me. This person's frustrating me. And it turns into, this person's really good at this other thing. Maybe I should let them do that instead of what they're doing now. That's leadership. Helping people realize their highest potential is leadership. That takes us realizing our own highest potential before we can do it for others. And this question, why am I here, is a big question. It's something that a lot of us have thought about. Most of the philosophers over time have thought about it. It's an incredibly deep question that has many answers depending on where you lie in religion or philosophy. But I think you've all gotten this question and actually had to answer it. This is a fairly typical interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? How about 10 years? And, for me, I used to shovel a lot of stuff on in this question and say, I saw myself as, hey, I'll be, the maintenance manager, or I'll be the superintendent, or I'll be this or that. But that's not really who you are, and that may not even be what you want. And the reason I say it may not be what you want is, early in my career, I had a new manager, and he did mock interviews with his team. And at the end of the mock interview, he said to me, he's like, Rob, at the end of your career, when you're 55 or 65, I see you as you're going to be superintendent level at this mine. And I walked out of that room and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want it to be me. I didn't want that. I knew one thing. I knew I didn't want that. I knew I didn't want to spend another 40 years toiling away to end there. And knowing that and acting on that are two different things. I knew that for about 8 years, and it was only up until about 4 weeks ago did I actually quit my job and start doing something that is why I'm here. And the reason it took so long is the beliefs that I had about the world, the beliefs I had about myself, and the work I needed to do. I needed to become who I was in order for me to take the next step. And in the process, I am choosing to become who I'm going to be. And so myself in 5 years, myself in 10 years, I'm not going to be a superintendent in mining. I'm going to be doing something similar to what I'm doing now, or maybe it'll even change and grow. But it'll definitely have a component of speaking and teaching and being in these high performance environments, because that's what I love. That's who I am. And regardless of the question, why am I here, and your answers from a religious point of view, each and every one of us has an ikigai. At Elite High Performance, we call this our sweet spot. And this is what we love to do. It's the thing that lights us up every morning. And for some of you, maybe that's reliability engineering. For some of you, that might be maintenance. For others, it may be something else. But if you dive into what ikigai actually is, it's an intersection of all these things. What you're good at, what you can get paid for, what the world needs, and what you love. Finding yourself and becoming who you are is creating and finding your ikigai. That allows you to truly work in flow and to become what and who you've meant to be. And if you look at it from a perspective of the feelings that you get, and if you're going to work every day and you're feeling anxious, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling out of control, you're not feeling the way you need to truly engage. And Gallup says roughly 85% of the world is in this boat. It depends where you fall on this matrix. I was a reliability engineer. It was my profession. I was good at it. The world needs it. As most of you know, I was comfortable. I was well paid, but it didn't light me up. I actually dealt with a lot of problems in my mental health because of it. For other things, you can't get paid for it. Maybe you love to, like for me, I love to play water polo, but I wasn't good enough to play professionally and I wasn't good enough to make money from it. But if you find that sweet spot, if you find that ikigai, and you can create it because you can always learn new skills and be good at new skills, that's when you're going to find why you're supposed to be here and who you want to become. And for me, I always love to stop and start with this. I truly believe that each and every one of you out there has special gifts to offer. You may not know what they are yet, but you have them. You each have an ikigai, whether you are working in it or you're not. And it's my duty to inspire you to take the first step, and to create it and to live in it. It'll change the way you are. And I did this talk, I said this morning, actually, in another talk that I was doing. But, going on this journey is not easy. And I liken it to taking the red pill in the Matrix. And I can't force you to take the red pill. You have to willingly take it yourself. And some of you, you'll say, oh, this guy's cracked out, and you'll hang up the call and you'll go to work tomorrow and you'll punch the clock the same as you always have. And that is what it is. You're at a different point in your life than you need to take the step. And others of you, hopefully some of you, will be inspired to start your own leadership journey or continue on the journey that you're on. Because this journey never ends. We always talk about legacy on the Leadership Launchpad project. And this is truly what you need to think about. Is when someone's reading your eulogy, when someone's, when your kids or the public or whoever is in the nursing home and they're thinking about you, what would they say about you? What's the legacy you want to leave on the world? And if that's, I wanted to get 10% more availability, then that's what it is. But I think you can find something greater than that. And so why should you start this journey? The nuts and bolts of the hard work, right? And for me, I'll just tell you where I was. I started my leadership journey, and probably the reason why most of you are here is I started Rob's Reliability Project podcast, now the Maintenance Disrupted podcast, about 3.5 years ago. And my goal with that podcast was to run my own consulting company, to get out of corporate and to do my own thing. It didn't have anything to do with helping anybody. Yes, I wanted to, help people get better reliability programs and better maintenance programs. But that was the limitations of the thinking that I had. And going on my journey, and no, it hasn't been easy. It's cost me tens of thousands of dollars. It's cost me years. It's cost me psychologists, coaches, therapists, medication, the whole whack. It's changed perspective for me. This talk would have never been possible for me to give 2 years ago. It just wouldn't even be in the realm of things I would even think about or be able to speak about. And today I can sit here in front of you and say, my mission, instead of being to create my own consulting company, It's to create a world where each and every one of us can go to work and be happy and be engaged, work in our ikigais, and work in true high performance teams where we feel like we belong, where we feel like we're valued, where we feel like we can speak up and be heard. And those gifts that I talked about, that each and every one of you has, that those teams unlock those gifts in each and every one of you. I want to change the world of work. That's why you should go on this journey, because you'll find something meaningful and purpose-driven like that on the other side of it. And so it starts with the first step. It starts with you making a decision today to go out and find what you're looking for. Start to learn about yourself. Start to learn about how you feel on a day-to-day basis, what lights you up, what things you enjoy, and start to craft what your ikigai looks like or what you want it to be. That's where it starts. And so actionably, where does it start? In this exercise, we start off the Leadership Launchpad Project program with this exercise is tracking our emotions. And I was reading a study the other day, and this study was a meta-analysis of over 65,000 entrepreneurs. And actually what they said and what they concluded in this study was that emotional intelligence is twice as valuable as IQ in contributing to your success. And the benefit is, here's an exercise that'll help you craft the emotional awareness, which is the step one of emotional intelligence. So as all we do, and Bob's on the call here, we do a little RCA here. And so start tracking your emotions and pick out those red flag emotions and pick out the green flag emotions. What do you love to do? When do you truly feel like you're in the pocket, like you are just lit up, like you have energy, like time slows down? And what's the commonality? What's the root cause of those feelings that are so good? And on the opposite side, when are you feeling bad? When is that stress coming up? When is that frustration coming up? When do you get angry, sad, stressed? What's the commonality there? The answers to those are going to guide you to where you need to go and where you need to get away from. And lastly, if you want to be inspired by our own Charlie Matthews, you can find her why on YouTube. She posted it a few weeks ago. And if you dig through the archives of Rob's Reliability Project, you can find mine as well as up there. And I believe you can also find a few different versions of them on the Leadership Launchpad Project podcast feed or Dismantling the High Performance Narrative feed as well. But what I would challenge you to do is to start crafting your why, to start thinking about what makes you you and why you're here. What gifts do you have? What excites you when you get up in the morning, and where do you see yourself going? And start thinking about it and start playing with it in your mind. And the hardest part of this exercise is what's in red. Is that truly you? Or is that what you think you're supposed to do? And how we teach this at Elite High Performance, we teach this as a visualization so you can truly feel it. You can experience it. And if it gives you those green light emotions when you visualize it in your mind, then you know it's right for you. And if it doesn't, you know it's not. And so that's where we're at for today. And if you're interested in sharing your answers with me, I would absolutely love to check them out. Whether you want to send me an email, you got my email there, Rob@Elite High Performance. You can also hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to do that as well. Or if you're brave enough and you want to put out a podcast or a YouTube video, shoot me the link to that. I'd love to check it out. But that's the homework for you this week. And as a bonus, I'll be giving away here I'll be giving away 5 calls with me. So if you want to get on this leadership journey, just reach out to me. Either send me an email or hit me up on LinkedIn, or send me a message on the LRVS app and say, hey, I watched your talk and I want to know where I should go on my leadership journey, or I want to chat about leadership. And we'll jump on a Zoom, and yeah, I'll give you my perspective and we'll talk a little bit about you. So, Greg, thank you for having me. Everyone, thank you.
Oh my goodness, Rob. So normally I will come up some questions. I think I'm speechless and literally have goosebumps, Rob.
That's what I like to hear.
Oh my goodness, that was so inspiring. And I'm just going to post a couple comments that we have here in the chat. But Charlie absolutely helped me. Bob, this is fantastic. These are principles that everybody can relate to, whether or not they wish to admit it or not. At a minimum, this will force introspection within ourselves and question our purpose and existence. I mean,
that's what we hope for.
This is so much bigger than reliability. Oh my goodness, just incredible. So very inspiring, great content as usual. So Rob, it's tremendous that you were able to participate in this, and you wwere fantastic and very inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And I look forward to listening to more podcasts and learning more from you. But this has been fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously everyone in the chat, I know you also. Thanks for commenting. And yeah, if you want to listen to my podcast, so I have 2 podcasts now. The one that's most pertinent to leadership is called the Leadership Launchpad Project. You can find it on Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. So go there, hit subscribe, and you will definitely find some great leadership content there. So check it out.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.